Hi, I'm Kevin Eikenberry, and I'm here to help you reach your potential as a leader and a human being. Welcome to Remarkable TV. Today we're talking about how to get started in empowering others. Are you ready? Let's go. Empowerment is one of those holy grail words in business today. I want my team to be empowered. I've empowered my team. Leaders are exhorting it and they're saying it, almost trying to convince themselves. Here's what I've found is there are a lot more people talking about it than actually achieving it. And so I thought it made sense to take a couple minutes in this episode of Remarkable TV to give you some ways to get started in creating empowerment. Okay? First thing I want to say is this, is that empowerment is only practically meaningful if and when there's a what. What does that mean? Well, let's get started and it'll make sense, okay? So here are the 5 things that I want you to do to get started. The first one is to decide what you're empowering people to do. Decide the what. In other words, I can't just say I've empowered people or I've empowered them. You've got to have what's the what? Let me give you a simple example. You might empower people or you might delegate signing authority to people to say, hey, you can make decisions on buying stuff up to $1,000. Just use that number. Well, you've empowered them up to $1,000. You haven't empowered them to make purchasing decisions. You've empowered them to make purchasing decisions up to $1,000. Now, this is a simple and concrete example, but it follows all the way through. You've got to decide what it is that you're empowering people to do. You've got to be clear on that. You can't just say, well, I've empowered them. You've got to be clear. Second thing is you've got to make the boundary clear. First one is to decide it for yourself. Second one is to make it clear to others. So, Marissa, what I'm saying is that you're cool up to $1,000. I'm not going to ask you about it. I'm not going to tell you about it. You can do it. You're up to $1,000. That's your thing. You're empowered to make decisions related to this, related to this. You're empowered to take actions related to this, related to this. Here are the boundaries. You can do it to this level, but you can't do it to this level. At this level, it's all yours. At this level, we need to talk about it. Make the boundary clear to the other person. First of all, you got to figure out what it is. Then you got to make it clear to them. And then the third thing is to ask the other person to accept. Are you willing to do that? Are you in? Because here's the thing. Empowerment is not about what you give. It's about what you give and they accept. So I've got to ask the other person to accept. Are you willing to do this? Now, there's a couple of things here. They're not willing to accept if they don't know what it is, number one. And they're also not willing to accept sometimes, bitter truth alert, they don't believe you. Like they don't really trust that you're really giving it to them. So you may feel like, well, I've empowered them and they haven't taken it because they don't really believe you in relationship to that boundary. Past experience, maybe not even past experience with you, past experience with other leaders, doesn't matter. You got to ask them to accept, get them to accept. And then the fourth thing is provide support and training. Is to make sure that they've got what they need to be successful. Part of your job is to coach. Part of empowerment is to help them know that yes, you're serious, and then here's how I'll help you get confident and successful in being empowered to do those things. And the last thing is, you got to let it go. If I've told Marissa $1,000, then I got to not ask her about every $400 purchase. Right? If I've empowered her in that way, then I got to let it go. Because every time I go back, every time I question, every time I ask about it, it's taking us back. She said, he didn't really empower me at all. Got to let it go. So those are the 5 things that you can do. If you do those 5 things, you are well on your way to getting started and having greater levels of empowerment and ownership in your organization. It's a worthy goal, and hopefully this helps you get started. Now, after the tweet, I've got some other ways that we can help, but let's end with today's tweet. Empowerment requires 2 decisions, one for you to empower and the other for someone to accept. We see it everywhere, from movie stars to world-class athletes to high-powered executives. The most successful people in the world in all endeavors have coaches. They understand that without coaching, without feedback, without guidance, without help, they will not achieve their potential. And if you want your team to be successful, and I assume you do, it's your job to provide this coaching. But while coaching is one of our most important responsibilities, it's also the most often overlooked. When you make the effort and coach successfully, you can build greater accountability, solve performance problems, help your rock stars achieve new heights, create greater engagement, get better results, and ultimately make your job easier. Because the bottom line is this: coaching is a critically important part of your job as a leader. If your team isn't performing well, you're not doing your job. And that's why I developed the Remarkable Coaching Workshop. Because in my experience, coaching is the missing component for most leadership development plans and programs. In this 2-day, interactive, practical, and fun learning experience, you'll learn how to effectively help your team members achieve more and be more successful. You will learn what coaching really is and what you must do in order to be successful, the underlying principles of successful coaching and how to apply them, making coaching work with all of the different personalities and experience levels on your team, an easy-to-follow practical 6-step coaching model, coaching versus mentoring, what the controversy is and how you can do both well, and lots more. Plus, you'll have the chance to learn with and from other leaders who are just as intent on improving as you are, building your network of colleagues and peers. If you're ready to supercharge your team's performance and achieve leadership success, click on the button below to learn more and join us for the Remarkable Coaching Workshop.